Okay, we're gonna open the meeting, so please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilperson Vargas Mendez.
Yeah.
Councilperson Buck.
Yeah, here.
Councilperson Gray. Here. Councilman Lyons.
Yeah.
Supervisor Leifert.
All right, so first up, we have the a move to approve the meeting minutes of October 25th, October 28th, November 7th, November 14th, and November 21st. Second. Leo, second.
Councilperson Vargas Mendez.
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay. Next up, we have the public hearing for the special use permit for 27 Dutcher Road. It's a small engine repair shop.
So this is a home occupation level 2 business that's needs an SUP, special use permit in the rural agricultural district. Joe Tift is the owner of the business and he's here tonight for any further questions. This was introduced last month when we set up this hearing. It will require a seeker determination also, short form.
Okay. The application's up on the screen. It's also on the website if you go to the meeting. Yeah.
It is functional, yes.
Show you.
The new website.
Yeah,
Website is missing a lot of things.
yeah. And these things are on there. I'll show you. Walk people through this one. I'm just gonna show the website so people know where to find it. When you scroll down. There's the calendar. You just click on the day. And then all the different documents and. The agenda, everything are right there. Even the directions if you need it.
You could ask for more.
Um. Is there a sketch plan or something? That should-
Within that application,
Within the
probably
application.
about 12 pages in.
So I still remember which document it was on. So if we have any comments from the public on this, if anybody, if you do, come up to the mic, please, or if you're on Zoom, just raise your hand and I'll call on you. Anyway, we gotta keep this open for 15 minutes, so. We'll open up the. Gonna open up the second one, just a moment. The second one's noticed for 6:10, so I have to wait a little bit. Ray, is there anything else to add about this one?
About this one, no, it's I think about
Stays
3
pretty-
acre residential lot, 3.71 acres. It's a long straight section of Dutcher that has residences as well as other ag fields and as far as adjacent lots.
Yeah,
It's not that far off of Route 13, so there's certainly business nearby.
Just add that the planning board looked at this fairly closely and didn't have any concerns I could notice. And much really to pass on to the town board about it.
Yeah, I put some of the conditions that the planning board recommended, I put into the draft resolution to approve this. And that was just kind of confirming that it would be a 9 to 5 operation. The intent is to have most storage inside the garage itself. If there was to be outside storage, it would have to be behind the front line of the building, of the garage, and screened with a fence. So there are some conditions on the first resolve.
Um, All right, so I'm just gonna open the next one then, since it's 6:10. So the next one is 1814 Henshaw Road. It's for the electronic billboard. Get those.
So it was about a year ago that this town board approved a special use permit for an electronic billboard at 1280 Dryden Road, so that was near the Nice Egg intersection. Ultimately, DOT did not approve the double-sided electronic billboard at that location, so now we're basically getting an application for same make and model, move down the road to the Hanshaw intersection. And we have Steve Frank and Rick Steele are both here from Park Outdoor. If there are any further questions.
And this is the planning department memo about the project. I mean, the thing is, the sign itself, it's the same exact one that you were talking about.
Yes.
For the other one.
Yeah.
The only thing that has changed since our last meeting is I sent some language that I think you guys found satisfactory about allowing some public service announcements.
Right. I mean, it's unnecessary language, but if it's helps you, we have no problem. We routinely do that. But we're happy to recognize that, include it.
Well, just someday, some of us might not be here and
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I could give some sort of paper trail.
Same here.
So that wound up in the resolution, is that correct?
Okay, you can insert that.
Where did that language ultimately land, you know?
I only have it in that email exchange, so we could put that into the first resolve as one of the conditions.
Okay.
And also I'd suggest adding a condition just to make it clear that the other special use permit for 1280 Dryden Road would be revoked, just to take that off the books and make that a clean.
Is there any comments from anybody here in the audience about this project? Or on Zoom? There's a couple people there.
So here's the language that we would throw in and one more, whereas Park Outdoor will provide the town of Dryden with the opportunity to promote municipal events or notices on electronic billboards within the town, subject to availability and advance notice. I think you guys found that
Sounds good.
fairly mundane. Harmless.
Okay. All right, so we gotta wait a few more minutes before we can close the Dutcher Road one. So I'm just gonna move down the agenda until 6:20. Rick, I see you're on. Was there anything you had?
No, I'm good, Jason. Thank you.
You good? Okay. Number 8, the planning department reports on the meeting documents, but I'll just show it real quick. Ray, was there, and then tomorrow you're what, getting that EPA grant in?
Yeah, so that's further down the agenda, but that's an
Yeah.
EPA grant that we're putting in with tomorrow being the deadline.
Okay. Is there anybody have any questions for Ray?
And most of it's coming up further on the agenda.
All right. Chris? The fire coordinator?
Anybody have any questions for me before I get started? I won't be long.
I know you sent out an email about the strategic plan. So, did anybody have any questions about that?
Okay. So, as you all know, this will be my last town board meeting. Speaking with you all, maybe sometime in the future, I'll be out there. So I've spent 2 years looking at the fire departments, working with the fire departments. Trying to get information and share it with you so that you can make decisions. You're in I can see that you're in kind of an awkward position and that you're basically, it's your fire district, fire protection district. So to some degree, you share with the fire departments the obligation to make sure that everything goes as well as it possibly can. But you do that without really knowing very much about the operations of the fire department, how things are going for them. So it's difficult, and I have seen you try and figure out how to proceed. And I would suspect that it's probably not your favorite topic to discuss and to talk about, figure out, okay, where do we go from here? And I get that. And it's, it's difficult for the fire departments too, because they need to come in here typically in the fall, ask you for money, have to justify their budgets to you, explain things to you. And so it's a difficult relationship. It's better now than it has been. I will definitely say that, and that's, I think in general, things with the fire departments are better than they were 2 years ago. Okay, sometimes considerably better. Just last night, some of the fire departments in town had from what I could see anyway, from the pictures and talking to a couple of people, really good training on firefighter rescue. So, more things like that are good, because training is the key. Especially with new people, especially with people that, they don't do this for a living. They do it out of the goodness of their heart. And the other thing that I learned today is that Mark Bell invited me over to their station and showed me their brand new ready room, lounge, whatever you call it. They took to heart some of the lessons from the folks that came up from Maryland to do the strategic planning workshop. In terms of creating an area that's welcoming to their members, so that their members will, whenever they want to, come to the firehouse and be there in the event of a call. They can go right, right from that ready room in their station, right out to the trucks and get going. And that is the key. That's really the most important thing for all the fire departments to embrace, is that the days of 40, 50 years ago, when you had a lot of people that lived, right next to the fire station, and they were all available, and the bell would hit and they would go to the fire station, boom, off the trucks would go. Those days are gone. Okay. People have to drive considerable distance to make it to their firehouse, and that delays the response. And that a delayed response is a losing response, and it makes no difference whether we're talking about a heart attack or a working structure fire. Unless you get at least a few people and at least one engine or rescue vehicle on the way, or an ambulance for that matter, you're playing catch up, and you will never ever win. Okay. So there continue to be difficulties, challenges, depending on the fire department. They've got their idea of this is the perfect fire engine. So their next door neighbors, they've got a very different idea. So it sometimes makes it difficult for people from one department to drive the apparatus, should they happen to be right there at that other fire station. So the bottom line for me, and I think it would be good for everyone, certainly you, certainly the fire departments, and most importantly, the citizens and the people that work in Dryden, people pass through Dryden, would be to look into, thoroughly investigate the advantages of forming a joint fire district where everybody belongs. Everybody operates in the same way, no matter whether you're, this side of the line or that side of the line, it's the same fire. So that's it in a nutshell. All the fire departments struggle to complete their administrative tasks, whether it's keeping records of training, keeping records of who their members are, keeping records of what calls they went on. And then they have difficulty, and you've heard this over and over, difficulty sharing that with you so that you can then in turn make your decisions. Some of them have difficulty finding a quality treasurer that can stay in place. They got one fire department now, the fire chief has been the treasurer for like 3 years running. They can't find anybody. Because people don't join volunteer fire departments, generally speaking, so they can sit at a computer and keep the books. They join to do other things. So, that is all taken care of by one or two people. They can be paid with a fire district. So all of that is taken off the backs of the volunteer fire departments, and especially the volunteer fire chiefs, so that they can concentrate on what they want to do, what they're good at, and that's preparing their people, training their people, and managing the calls. That's what they joined for. They didn't, I don't think most of them joined so they could crunch numbers or write out, lengthy reports on what the XYZ fire department has been doing and prepared to do. So, it's a win-win-win. I have talked to, I don't know how many fire commissioners, mayors of both villages and towns that said, we're done trying to manage our fire department or fire departments. We're going to turn it over to fire commissioners, people who that's all they want to do. They're all volunteers, and that's all they do. And 9 times out of 10, those commissioners come right directly from that municipality's fire service. So they're talking to themselves. They're getting money from themselves. They are justifying whatever decisions they're making to themselves. So everyone that I've talked to that used to be a fire protection district, used to be a village fire department, they're all very happy that they made the change. There's not been one instance in the state of New York where a fire protection district or a village fire department changed over to a fire district or a joint fire district and then said, oops, we made a mistake, let's go back. Not one. So, and the numbers of fire districts and joint fire districts goes up every year, including some fire departments here in Tompkins County. So there really is something to it. There's a right way to, in my opinion, to make that happen, and that's to involve the fire departments. You're going to have to involve the 2 villages. Get everybody on board. It's all education. It's all finding out the facts, finding out the truth of what does happen, what doesn't happen, how the law works. You have a golden opportunity with the funding that the state has provided, to hire a consultant, have them come in. I don't know whether they're going to say, yeah, fire district is the best way to go. They may not. They may say, well, consolidate these 2 fire departments are all work better together or whatever. But they'll say what they say. And then it's up to you to decide, yeah, that's what we want to do, or no, we don't want to do what our consultant told us. But crucial to the success of it all is to get those people that are actually going to continue to do the work for nothing to buy into, to learn about, and to be happy about the fact that they're, to a large degree, they're going to be in charge. Whereas now you've got, you're hitched together and it doesn't always go well. I'll say in closing that this is the year to do it, because now you have the leadership of your fire departments that are working together much more than they ever have. I think they're working with you better than they have probably in a long time. So the relationship is there. So this is the time to continue to work together and just get this done for the betterment of everybody. Okay.
Yep. Thank you, Chris.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Chris, I want to thank you for the work you've done for this town. You were a good hire. You did your job as we wanted you to. You probably made everybody upset, which means you were probably doing your job especially well, right? You know, making us rethink a lot of past assumptions. And so you're a public servant and you were a good hire and we're thankful. And I had somebody contact me this week who has no dog in any of these fights. And just say it's unfortunate the way you have been treated at times. And you know, that's regrettable because I think you've only had the best in mind for our fire protection in this town. And you've been around long enough to know the work, but also know that it needs continual reform. It needs to be, you know, evolved to meet the changing dynamics that we live in now. And that the status quo won't do it. So you've taught us how to ask better questions, and I think that's really important. And I think you've changed the way we'll be approaching this. And so we're grateful for that. So thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, thanks for doing that hard work for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right then, thank you.
Yep. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna jump back to the first public hearing about Dutcher Road. And close that. So it's a short
Short form.
one, yeah, EAF, so I'll share that.
Part one is part of the application and then a draft, part 2 and 3 is in there also.
So it's right up on the screen. Right, so it's the planning department, what's been checked off is no or small impact for all 11 questions. Does anybody have any comments on these? Have you? No? Okay. And there's no additional explanations or anything for part 3. Right. And so this first resolution is for the negative seeker declaration for the special use permit and site plan approval for the small engine repair business located at 27 Dutcher Road. So I'll move that.
I'll second.
Yeah.
Councilperson Martis Memon.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, all right. The next resolution is to approve the site plan and grant the special use permit. And this just had it's number 2 as the conditions.
Yeah, the first resolve has a few conditions that were suggested by the planning board and there.
Yeah. Okay, right. So it's the yeah, I mean, they have to follow DEC regs anyhow for
Yeah.
the disposal of any.
The larger operation would have like DMV inspections and stuff. We don't have that for this, so that's why.
Right. That's the hours of operation, the sign, and what was E, was there a space? There's a letter E in this, though, doesn't have anything with.
Oh, just if you wanted to add any other conditions as we got through the hearing, if anything else was raised.
No. We haven't had anything else raised, so we don't need it. Right, so I'll move this resolution to approve the site plan
I'll second.
and grant the permit.
Councilperson Martis Memon.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So then I'll move on, we'll go back to 5B, which is the Henshaw Road billboard. I'll close that public hearing. And this is another type short form, so alright. And these 11 questions, again, they're all checked off, no or small impact. Anybody have any comments, questions about these? And there's nothing in part 3.
There's nothing in this we haven't already seen.
Right.
And approved.
Right. All right, so this is the resolution, the negative seeker declaration. So I'll move this.
Second,
Councilperson Byers Mormon.
Yes.
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 Yes. And this resolution is to approve the site plan and special use permit. I know, Ray, you said there's one addition we need to this, though.
Yeah, we put a condition in that first resolve about just revoking the prior SUP at 1280 Dryden Road, just to take that one off the books.
Okay, so that would be in a, that would be the,
And then as we talked about earlier, putting in the whereas with the language of park outdoor.
right.
Make it
So that would be,
PSAs.
that would go in 1B. The language that Dan mentioned.
Yeah.
And then,
I emailed that to Bambi.
yep. And then number. Suppose add a 4 for the revocation of the other,
Yeah, it would just be C under the
or C.
under the first resolve.
Okay,
Just put a C there to revoke the prior permit SUP at 1280 Dryden Road.
all right, so I'll move this resolution with those amendments.
Second,
Councilperson Byers Mormon.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
yes.
Yes. All right.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome to come back anytime. I know this stuff is interesting.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Yeah,
You too. Drive safe.
Okay, so then next up, we have a resolution for a payment outside the abstract. Was it? Oh, sorry, David, whoops. Is David on? Oh, yeah, he is.
Hello, good evening.
David.
Yep. I was trying to follow along the agenda. I thought I had more time. Thanks for being efficient. I am going to report on the month of November, but since the month ended 19 days ago, I have updates since then, the last 19 days for Dryden Fiber. I'm going to bring up the report that I updated this afternoon. And after the meeting, I'll send you over a copy of it so you can see in detail everything that happened since December 1st. I'm going to share my screen if that's okay.
Yeah, you should be able to already.
All right, so this is for the month of November. You should have a copy of that emailed, I think, last week. The executive summary is getting to be a smaller and smaller font as a lot of things happen at the end of the year. We'll start with the top, which is the Municipal Infrastructure Program update. This is the New York State grant that the town of Dryden and town of Caroline was awarded back in June. It's a $8.9 million grant on a total $10 million total project budget to reach every unserved and every underserved home in both the town of Dryden and town of Caroline. It also includes any roads any homes that we might pass by on the way to reaching unserved and underserved homes. So what that means is it's about 1,200 homes in the town of Caroline and about 1,600 homes in the town of Dryden. We have to do a few different legal things to make this happen at this point. One is there's an intermunicipal agreement that we're working on that describes and puts together the relationship between the town of Dryden and the town of Caroline. This is really regarding how the project is funded, how we place orders and make purchases, how we do the invoices, payments, and ultimately all of the reimbursements from New York State. This is a reimbursement grant. So what has to happen is Dryden Fiber, on behalf of both town of Dryden and town of Caroline, spends the money, does the work, and then submits. Once we hit certain project milestones, we submit the invoices and the proof of payment of those invoices to New York State. The New York State will pay us our a share of that $8.9 million over the course of 4 different time periods. First time period is basically 2024. It ends on January 31st of next year. The next time period is all of 2025. The third one is January to October of 2026. The last one is October, November, and December of 2026, with the entire project wrapping up at the end of 2026 in about 24 months. After the IMA is agreed to between the towns of Dryden and Caroline, then we will sign, or we'll request the board authorize Jason to sign the grant disbursement agreement, which talks about all the receipts and how we will get the reimbursements from New York State. Regarding the rest of the project, the first stage is the permitting. This is where we have sent out our team to go and survey all the roads where we're putting in fiber to figure out if we can go on telephone poles or underground. There are 29 separate permit applications. Each of those permit applications covers about 150 telephone poles. And our estimate was that the first permits would come back to us in April, May, or June, start construction in the summer, and begin to have people come online in the fall. Right now, we're moving faster than expected, and we believe we'll start to get some of these permits back in January. So we're about 4 months to 5 months ahead of schedule. A lot of stuff happening with this project behind the scenes. Any questions on the municipal infrastructure program?
No. No, doesn't look like it.
All right, cooler updates. We did have a brief outage at 2 of our POPs during that November 22nd storm. That was the Friday snowstorm before Thanksgiving. NYSEG reported they had about 200,000 customers without power. That included quite a bit of the town of Dryden. It also knocked out 2 of our POPs. For our service to work, we have to have both electricity running at the POP, as well as the customers have to have electricity at their home. So if they don't have electricity at their home, even if we had the service running, their Wi-Fi is not going to work. There are a few customers that have their own generators at their homes that could have used Dryden Fiber if Dryden Fiber wasn't also knocked out from the storm. But it was less than 5 out of the 35 that were offline for about 22 hours. Since the storm, we've worked on 3 different initiatives to maintain power at the POPs. First is improving the batteries that are there so they'll last longer. The second is bringing in generators, either having generators there permanently or bringing in generators when there are outages. That's handled right now by the DPW. The third is actually bringing in a permanent generator that is tied into the gas grid. So if we lose electricity, the natural gas will provide the juice for the generators. Generators will power the POPs. We'll be able to maintain Dryden Fiber even if there's no electricity. So we're working on all 3 of those right now to maintain uptime. We will be issuing a 40% off of the December bill in credit to those 35 customers that were offline per the current service level agreement, the SLA. Tomorrow morning, there is a Dryden Fiber Broadband Committee meeting. We're gonna have a discussion about the service level agreement. We are the only ISP, maybe anywhere, but definitely in New York State, that has no weather-related or acts of God component to our service level agreement when we're offline. Every other provider would say there was a snowstorm, there was no electricity, we couldn't provide service, too bad. You don't get any credit back on your bill. When electricity came back on, your internet came back. Our current SLA does not account for that. So tomorrow we'll present this to the broadband committee for their recommendation. We'll bring it back to the town board for your consideration to change the service level agreement. That just says if 10 trees fell on every power line that was running Dryden Fiber all over town that were completely knocked out, we can't control that. We would likely be back up relatively quickly, depending on how massive this outage was. But the current SLA doesn't have any accounting for this kind of a weather-related event. Before I move on, any questions about the SLA or this outage or the credits?
I'm nothing other than, I think that's something that we have to discuss and certainly we're very responsive compared to the other ISPs, and it's great that you did that research to show that we're kind of an outlier in that regard. And I think so far that news is traveling, and it's part of the reason people want to sign up, is that we're different. We're in, and the service goes out. Who does that?
Yeah, I mean, well, our goal is to have the service up 100% of the time. The SLA says 99.999% of the time, and 99 with 4 nines after the decimal for our business customers. But that's literally under 2 hours a month for residential of total outage, under 1 hour a month for our business customers.
In terms of model of using gas powered generators for electricity outages is kind of innovative for our service. You didn't borrow that from some other provider that you learned about?
Well, we learned from the Yellow Barn Water District, which does the same thing. When that water district loses electricity from NYSEG, it kicks over to generators and continues to provide water for people in the Yellow Barn Water District here in the town of Dryden. That's managed and maintained by the Dryden DPW, and it happens to be across the street from where one of our POPs is located.
I just think that that's another storyline of what makes us different. And we're writing the manual. It's great, good stuff, David.
Thank you. Next up, we have had some inventory issues. We want to report on this, mostly due to the rapid growth. We thought we knew what was happening and coming down the pike, but the turning the map green and caused some rapid increase in business, which I'll talk about in just a minute. There was a little installation delay. We ran out of the ONUs. These are the devices that go inside the house that connect from our drop lines from the network to the home. There was a 21-day delay in installations. Once we were able to acquire those, we were able to get about 1,000 of them. So that delay has gone away. There are also some construction delays, weather-related, primarily due to the hurricanes that hit the southeast, as well as the snowstorm, this big snowstorm. We rely on electricians from Richardson Electric. They work all over the East Coast to do electrical work. So when there was that huge hurricanes that happened over August, September, October, as well as the ones that happened in Asheville and North Carolina, Richardson sent people down there, which meant they were coming off of our project to build our network. That delayed our construction. We are working to diversify our electrician pool as we grow into the next phase of the construction. Right now, we're about maybe 15% out of the total construction for both towns combined. So we've learned, and as we grow and go forward, having multiple electricians available just diversifies us if there's another incident where this might happen, especially in the next 2 years where we are really under this clock from New York State. We do not spend the money by December 31st of 2026. There's no extension. We have to spend it by then to get paid back. We've also learned that it's becoming more difficult to acquire the equipment we need. We're working on many different aspects of inventory management, talking directly to vendors, talking directly to manufacturers, talking to other ISPs. One of the solutions for this O&U outage was to pick up devices from Cape Cod's municipally owned internet service. They are using the same equipment we are, and they were willing to drive and meet us in Albany and hand off equipment to us that they had that they didn't need. So we're working to build some partnerships with other ISPs that are in the same technical footprint that we're in, so we can work and grow together. All right. Next up, there's a request I sent to the committee last week. I sent it to the broadband committee last week. A request to switch to Cogent from FirstLight. This will save us money on the platform from a national provider. It also reduces our monthly cost by about $2,400. It's a 3-year engagement. It will be replacing the FirstLight backhaul connection, which is how we get the internet broadband into the town of Dryden at the central office, which is behind the DPW building. The other connection that we use on Pinckney Road is being supplied by another provider called Windstream. We're going to maintain a relationship with them. We have to have 2 different providers for both, in case anywhere on the network goes down, but also for IP addresses. We want to have just diversification. And we looked at a couple different options, and this Cogent option seemed to be the one that made the most sense for us. It'll take them about 3 to 4 months to schedule it once we sign off and agree to the terms, or once we sign off on the agreement.
This is a naive question, but just for good measure. It's safe to say that this change won't affect our grant application. There's nothing with our grant application that binds us to the current vendor, correct?
That's a good question. No, not at all.
Sweet.
Looks like a money saver.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick savings of money. It reduces our cost by about $2,400 per month over the course of 3 years. It's close to $90,000 in savings. In addition, they've offered if we sign before the end of the year, they will waive 1 month of each of the next 3 years, which is another, $2,400. It's another $3,300 is the monthly fee. Multiplied by 3, so it's about $10,000 in savings on top of that. So we'll save money each month. We'll also have 3 months of free service over the next 3 years. It's month 1, month 13, and month 25. They're a good partner. They were recommended to us by Scott Brennan from Netegrity, who is our network consultant as well as our customer support partner on the project.
So I guess I move that we authorize Jason to sign this.
Yeah. There's the resolution is part of the packet, but yeah, we can do that while we're doing this. too.
Oh, we have an individual resolution.
Yeah, there is one, but we can do it right
I
now.
didn't see it
too.
in documents.
It's 12G, just. It's their, the order. So. I did, well,
See the contract, is there a resolution in there?
There's not a resolution.
yeah, this would be authorizing me to sign this, that's all.
Right, so we just need to kind of have it in the minutes, right?
Yeah.
That-
Yep.
I move that we authorize Jason to sign
I'll
this.
second that.
Spring seconds.
Councilperson Martin.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Thank you.
thank you.
It's a DocuSign. I don't know if that's allowed for Jason. So he has the email. You can do that.
Yep.
Anytime now at the end of the year, and we'll be in touch with them. Amanda and I are working with them on all the other parts of the invoicing and configuration. Great. The couple other bullets from the month of November, we are now able to serve 1,251 parcels, which is 21.4% of the town. So big step where over 20% of residents or households parcels can now use the service. I sent this report, and this is the update on the bottom of this. As of today, we are now at 231 paying customers. This is 66 new customers since November 1st. We had 114 inbound requests in the month of November, 53 of those in the green zone, and 40 of them were from Town of Caroline. In November, the Town of Caroline sent out a newsletter. They sent out an email newsletter to their residents. They said, sign up for Dryden Fiber, and very quickly, 40 of their residents said, signed up. Actually, it's 25 of them signed up in November, 40 of them total as of December 1st. So we believe that the demand for the service, once we market it in Caroline, will be as strong as it is in Dryden.
Wow.
The rest of the update as of this month, because we're 2/3 of the way through December, we have 24 more installations scheduled for this month in the next 11 days. There's already 14 scheduled into January. This is based less on our ability to do the installations and more on the customers saying, I'm going to be traveling, but I want it. Can you come in after January 1st? We also have 21 that are unscheduled, which when we combine all these numbers together, we are at 290 total customers that I expect to be billing on February 1st.
Wow.
About a year ago, we had 20 customers. So pretty big 2024. So thank you for all your support in getting us here.
Yeah.
Finally, the most exciting part, perhaps, the monthly run rate, we're at about 15K per month. With the switch to Cogent, that drops it down to a little less than $13,000 a month. This is the pay for the operations of the monthly ongoing expenses. We divide that by our current average of $51 per customer, and our break even is 251 customers, which means we'll probably be at break even by the end of the year, given that we have 24 more scheduled for December, and we're already at 231. So we'll be about 4 customers over break even. At that point, any excess funds can be used to paying down first the construction costs, and then later pooling any money we need for long-term repair and maintenance. And then finally, at some point in the future, determining how we reduce the cost to the customers.
That's great news.
What's not to like?
We're probably about 90 days ahead of where we thought we would be.
Mm-hmm.
Things are speeding up. As soon as we turn areas on the map green, people sign up.
Yeah. There's a lot of pent up demand, so.
That's all I have for the month of November and the first part of December. The next meeting will probably be mid-January, so we'll have a lot of updates of what we said was going to happen, as well as what happens the first half of January. Any questions?
Is the projection to get to 500 still what last summertime, you think?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at 500 by June 30th and 1,000 by the end of the year. We definitely have the person power within our installation teams to do all that work. Especially this example that we did 66 installations since November 1st, and we did 15 installations in the month of November. So we had 50 installations this month in 19 days. So we have no problem on the installation side of hitting the targeted numbers. I would say we'll probably be quite a bit over 1,000, but safely we'll be at 1,000 by the end of next year.
Good. Yeah, that's what we need. So excellent. Yeah, great work.
All right, well, I appreciate all of your time and interest in this. I am at Town Hall almost every day of the week. So if you ever want to stop by, schedule some time to get together and talk. We're covering a lot of things right now, from not just growing the network and construction and installation, but managing it for long-term stability, dealing with the next power outage before it happens, dealing with the next snowstorm. So we're well set up to help our customers have 100% uptime. That's our goal.
Yep.
Thanks. Have a good holiday. See you in January.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right, so I'll get back to the agenda. Let's move to the resolution, since I don't see, we had, I think Mike Lane here last week. So, first I'm looking at this, so the resolution to pay outside the abstract 12. Pull that up again. And this is for a payment to Ace HVAC for installation of heat pumps at the highway building. For $17,204. So move that.
Second,
Councilperson Bondsman,
yes.
Yes.
yes,
Yes,
Yes. All right. Next up, there's the sewer and water rate resolution. This is covering the sewer district covered by the Village of Cuba Heights. That's in Sapsucker. It's SS1. It would be effective January 1st, 2025. I'll move this.
second,
person Bondsman,
yes.
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
Yes. Next up would be the. So there's the Finger Lakes reuse grant application that Ray was mentioning earlier. This is, my understanding of this, it's the Finger Lakes reuse looking to locate some of their operations in Dryden. There's a grant that would help them do that. And the grant is due tomorrow. So this is the application summary. Need a resolution to allow, so I guess I need to sign that. Or
No, I should-
actually signing it, correct?
Yeah, I think I should be able to do the submittal tomorrow,
Okay.
but you never know. There's a lot of certifications that often come down the road during these applications. And so that's why I put the last resolve in there to cover any future
Yeah.
authorizations needed.
So this is the application summary. It's up there right now. And then.
So
The
are
US
we the applicant or is Finger Lakes?
We are the applicant. So the US EPA set up this grant program to try and divert waste stream. You know, kind of recognizing landfills are filling up and it's going to be very expensive to replace them. So they're putting money into diverting waste. So reuse operations, reuse infrastructure is, you know, spot on for this grant program. The Finger Lakes reuse model has proven very effective in Ithaca, and we would look to duplicate something like that out in the town of Dryden. So the retail component as well as a warehouse component. Getting into deconstruction and recycling of construction waste products.
Yeah,
So-
so has Diane Cohen contacted us already about this, or you contacted her?
We've been teaming to draft up this application over this last
Okay,
week.
so they would be the presumptive partner, but
Right.
Yep.
okay.
But we could go out with this and do a RFP and see if there are other people that want to get into this business. It's certainly a,
Probably for legitimacy, we should do that, but
Hmm.
obviously, I mean, Finger Lakes Reuse has such a strong track record.
Absolutely. Yep.
And we'd be lucky if they were able to work with us and do a facility here.
I mean, I have a partnership, I think, with the county, so I think we want to make sure.
They have a partnership with the county too, or? I don't know.
I believe so. I think it's, we want to make sure we understand before the an RFP went out.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, they're the only service I know that's like this in the county.
Yeah, and quite frankly, Clear Lakes Reuse and Diane Cohen are leading the state in this activity, if not the whole region, so. They're at the forefront of this movement in this part of the country.
And this won't be awarded until December of 2025. So it'll be a long wait.
Is there a local match?
There is no match.
There's no match.
No match.
No match, just pure money
Yep.
to do the right thing.
The last whereas talks about that. This is a program available to towns, not for private sector, not for nonprofits. It's
Right.
it's for various levels of municipal government.
Okay. All right,
This is
so
wonderful. I love it.
it's even better without having to match it, so.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll move this.
I'll second.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. All right, so then next up, so some of the towns around are past, like, I know they're wanting to get comments into the state about the Cargill salt mine. I know Enfield, at least Enfield already passed something like this. Comments are due in I think January 19th. This concern is about the permit that they might receive would allow them to, I guess, put brine water into the tunnels, and I know there's been, I don't know, I guess issues with what might happen.
Yeah.
What people think might happen, and there's been concerns about the level of study that's been actually done about this.
Conservation Board discussed it last night, and they were gonna send you a letter supporting that, the town.
That we passed the.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, we can. Yeah, so if you wanted to move it.
I'll move it.
Second. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right, so then we just need to send this off to the DEC, and I think the list of where it's gonna go is at the bottom.
Mhm.
All right. All right, so next up would be recommendation about DCO, so we had an RFP out for that.
So Spring and I met with the candidates this week. We had interviews, and based on the interviews and the proposals, we recommend awarding it to Amaretta Beardsley.
And just what were I guess, anything, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, one, there was a pricing component. The other thing is, she had a very holistic plan around rehoming dogs and developing campaigns on that front. Both candidates, in my opinion, I really enjoyed talking with both of them immensely. They both deeply care. But Amaretta was out of the interviews, and her written proposal, the clear top candidate.
Okay.
Were there just two?
Yeah.
And this is for 1 year period or how long is the contract?
Is it 1 year with?
They're 1
option to-
year, yeah.
To renew it.
See if there's a,
Did you have anything else to add to that?
okay, so then what I needed then is just a resolution to. I guess, because we have I guess the agreement part, which the language is basically to. Offer the contract to. Was it Retta, Amaretta?
Beardsley.
And then, she'd have to. And she'd have to accept, and then. Upon. I guess her acceptance, then I would. Sign,
Sign the agreement.
yeah, so that's what I guess so the resolution just need to be. Authorized made on behalf of the board to. Offer that and then sign upon acceptance.
Okay,
And if if there's not, for whatever reason, then we go from there.
so being it's the last meeting of the month, is that something we can?
Yeah, we'll be able to get it out, I guess tomorrow,
Okay.
there's nothing changing except. Because the award amount would be what was in the bid,
What was in the bid? Yeah.
yeah, which, do you have that?
No, it's on here. Oh, here it is.
6,200 per month. So that's. $74,400, so it'll be not to exceed 74,400 for the year. I guess you guys are, who's gonna move it? You two.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Next up is the Freeze Road Bridge. FEAF. So, part 2 and 3. So then this is gonna finally let us bid this out?
Well, they have to,
They have to-
we'll be very close. Gotta go through final design approval.
So this is what we were trying to talk about last month, but we didn't have the form yet.
Exactly.
All right. So,
I'll move it. Let's do it.
what was that?
I'll move it. We want the bridge.
You want the break? Oh. Yeah, we want the bridge. We're gonna go through this, so. All right, so number 1 on this, it's impact on land. It's been checked, yes. I mean, building a bridge, so. But it's no or small impact is all it's checked off except for. The one about the water table. There are.
Number you on?
Just on number 1, and then right now, because number 3 is gonna have, yeah. Well, part 3 has the explanation, but anyhow, so any questions on number 1?
No.
All right, number 2 is the impact on geological features, says no. I mean, it's replacing the existing bridge, so it's just going where it is. Impact on surface waters checked off, yes, but they're all marked smaller, no impact. I think, if I remember right from one of the original presentations, it's gonna, I think, improve the flow of the water through the creek though,
By removing the
by
pier
removing the
structure,
piers, yeah.
so the water will flow better.
Number 4, impact on groundwater, there's none. Impact on flooding. It's marked yes, no or small impact, but I think because of removing the pier, it probably improves that situation.
There's less backflow, as they call it, that creates the flooding, so
Yeah,
the impact on flooding will be positive. I guess that's an impact,
yeah,
and positive in the sense of less flooding.
yeah,
That came out wrong.
yeah, it'll lessen the risk.
Yeah.
Right. Impact on air, no. Impact on plants and animals, more checked off, yes, for small or no impact. And it's that way for all of them. I mean, there's nothing specific marked off, but there are.
There's nothing commented about light, that doesn't,
About what?
there's nothing in there saying that light is impacted, but are there plans to have any bright lights on the bridge?
No,
Okay,
no, the
There's going to be a traffic signal,
yeah, but that's not gonna,
so that's already baked in. We've already passed a resolution accepting that.
yeah,
That battle's over.
but it's not gonna have, like, as far as like the plant animal impact, there's not going to be
no,
anything. It's
no bright street lights that are gonna
no,
light up.
there's
there.
nothing gonna be lighting up the water directly. There's no. Oh, at least I don't remember anything like that.
Absolutely not.
No. So. All right, impact on ag resources, no. Impact on aesthetic resources, yes, I mean, it's going to, I mean, the design will. I mean, be a little bit different than the current bridge. But it's gonna have the old trusses,
It's gonna look a lot like the old bridge.
yeah.
Gonna have the facade.
Um. And then impact on historic and archaeological resources. It's checked off, yes, but
Oh, yeah.
I guess we'll go with it.
Easy. We've already been through all this.
I know, but it's,
Yes. They.
Right.
SHPO found a significant impact, but they still understand what we're doing.
do we have a taker for the bridge yet, or? I can't even remember anymore. It's been so long, what we're doing with it. Yeah, all right, impact on open space and recreation. It's yes, but it's actually gonna restore the path from that. There's a trail on the other side on the.
Yep.
From the Cornell side that people haven't been able to really access for a couple of years now.
Yep,
So that's good. Impact in critical environmental areas, nope, because we don't have any that are designated. Impact on transportation, yes, we can finally stop wasting gas driving the extra couple of miles. And Varna can finally get to the other side easier when they have to respond to an emergency call.
Or electricity if you have an EV.
Whatever you can, people power too. You're still not, you don't have to go an extra couple of miles. Finally. Impact on energy is no, it's just positive because people will be using less. Impact on noise, odor and light, yes, probably because of those traffic lights. And it's impact on human health, yes, but I don't know how.
They're gonna say some noise levels. I mean, there'll be vehicles
Yeah,
traveling through there like they always did before the bridge was closed.
right. So I guess, oh, and the lead paint will be gone though. That's a plus.
Yeah.
Um. And consistency with community plan, no impact. Consistency with community character, yes, it's a one lane, just going to a one lane. So. But
Would still be a metal grate base.
you know what? What was that?
So if it was still gonna be a metal grate base, that's good, because that'll make it a lot quieter, that metal
Yeah.
grate is loud.
Concrete.
Yep.
So quiet.
Easier to bike on.
Okay.
All right, so that's that. Then well, it's the supporting information. It's pretty long, it's on the website, I'm just scrolling through it, but. This is all the supporting information for the part 3 of the FEAF. Anybody have any questions about this? No? And then the. Yeah, and this is just the cover sheet for part 3 that's up there. Okay. All right, so. This is the resolution to determine. The. Proposed Freeze Road Bridge over Fall Creek. Bridge replacement project, a type 1 action will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment. So I'm gonna move this.
Second.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yay, so you have a couple other documents that Patsy put on your desk. Did you see those about the?
Yeah, I'll-
The extension, we need those turned around as soon as possible. I know you're
Yeah,
traveling soon.
well, not till end of next week, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I saw them when I was in there, so I have to go back there after the meeting anyhow, so I'll take care of them.
We had an extension to the funding that we had to just confirm and they approved, but Jason's got to sign. So,
It's had a big impact on a lot of people. I've heard a lot about it a lot, so thank you for all of.
Yeah.
You put in to get this across the finish line.
we did it the the most difficult way possible, but we're getting it done.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay, so then we can just go through the advisory board updates and then we have citizens privilege, so. For the housing.
No action was taken during the meeting. We had a very good conversation with Jeremy Thomas, an associate vice president for asset, whatever, management at Cornell. And the conversation was about the parcels that Cornell owns within the town of Dryden and the plans that Cornell may or may not have about developing any of them for purposes of housing and so forth. We're still in the process of continuing the conversation. No, nothing really happened. Jeremy was even not very aware of some of the properties that we actually pointed out.
Thanks.
You're good?
Yep.
There was no November. CB meetings, but there were the December meeting we had early, so that was yesterday. As I mentioned, there was discussion around the Cargill permit proposal, and let's see. The Conservation Board spent time the last month drafting a letter of feedback to Tompkins County regarding a proposed culvert in Midline Road. And how that's happening, so that went out. And other than that, those are the main things.
Thanks.
Climate Smart, since they had such a great year getting all those grants, they took the month off.
We have planning,
Yeah.
so we looked at the Dutcher Road project that we passed tonight and vetted that at the planning board. It did good work. I think it's a modest business in the right place, so it's all good. There's an upstate Hayes business coming in. It's going to be another dispensary, and I think it's in a perfect location right next to AutoWorks 366. So going over some site plan details on that and accessibility. Kind of fairly long discussion about a sidewalk. Going down to it, I believe the planning board wants an actual concrete sidewalk, is that, or just space for a
Well,
walkway?
Yeah, multi-use
tell.
path alongside the driveway.
Or did we leave it at a path? Because,
I believe it was designated multi-use path.
okay, because I said my piece, that we shouldn't be requiring them to have a paved sidewalk all the way down there, since we don't have that for AutoWorks. And so there was a good discussion. I think they did the right thing on that. So that project's moving along. There are a couple of apartments going in on Lower Creek Road. So we saw an initial site sketch plan, I think, for that. Kind of exciting, more housing off of Lower Creek Road. The zoning audit that we did is resulting in a need to rewrite some of our zoning law, as you all know. So we are going to renew the RFP, of kind of a mini RFP to extend the work, possibly with Dan Stolzenberg or someone else. We have to put it out for bid, but it's likely going to be Kerr, but we'll have to see who else wants to bid on it. So we're fair and accountable in that process, but she's done very good work for us so far. And there are 2 alternate spots opening up come January. So if any of us can think of somebody who might want to serve on the planning board, let's think of names. The good news is Tony Salarno, who's I think been doing a great job, has offered to be reappointed as chair. We'll have to confirm that in our January meeting, but I think he's doing the work, and I think the whole group's doing the work. It's a great high functioning board right now.
I saw the cottages were in the media today, the little cottage proposal.
Oh, which one is it?
The one at the end of Cardinal Drive.
Oh, okay. Oh,
And
yeah,
Henshaw.
okay, off Henshaw. Right. That's a new development being proposed.
Yeah, I mean, we have to, that's gonna end up here coming to us, right?
A special use permit,
Yeah,
or wasn't it a PUD that we were?
I think they were,
For the end of Cardinal?
Yeah.
Yeah, PUD.
All right.
okay. For ag committee, I mean, a lot of it was a discussion, I mean, it's just kind of a general discussion about state of agriculture in the town. I mean, there's, the amount of dairy farmers has shrunk. Still more cows and more milk being produced than ever before, but fewer actual dairy farms. The one thing we want to make sure is that they're part of the, and, brought into the zoning discussion and, because of, there's so many ag lands. Then they have, some, I guess, unique situations for their businesses, though, because I think historically they sort of feel left out of it in some ways of that discussion because of there's not always an understanding about like how their businesses fit in with how the town's always developing, but there's also the play between what we have is agricultural zoning and then the countywide ag districts and how those work together and so anyhow, they want to make sure that they're actually brought in by, they did speak with the consultant
Yeah.
initially, but when it comes time to rewriting whatever the committee is gonna be, I don't know if they have somebody on there yet or not, but they probably should have. I think they'll definitely be able to supply somebody to regularly attend.
Sure.
They just need
Good
to
stuff.
make sure they're in there. And then for DRYC, they did not, they put in an application for Design Connect. About the, I guess, which wasn't accepted. They wanted to look at a possible community center at the United Methodist Church, which is in the village, because the congregation's, going through some changes and they might not be able to support the buildings. What they're looking to do is, I guess at least it was June, we went over there, I think.
Yeah.
So there may come a point where they've got permission from I guess their national. I don't know I don't quite know how it works, but to lease part of the building or sell it or do something. So anyhow, there's still gonna be talks about what can be done over there. It's just that it's not, the Design Connect isn't gonna be necessarily helping yet with that. And then there was just discussions about how all the shifts to winter sports by our rec department and schools and everything. And then there was another discussion, and they might come to a board meeting. Some point next year. There's land that they're looking. For. Other locations for parks, there are some larger parcels that might be available. Further towards the center of town. So, that could be or areas even to build a communities, like a town-wide community center. We have. Right now, just really the Ellis Hollow one. Because the one in Etna it's tiny. Bethel Grove, that's really just a daycare now. And as the cafe over here closed as a community center cafe, so. So they'll probably come to the board at some point spring, talking more about this as they get better ideas about what they think we should be doing. Okay.
Are these,
And it's all, their draft minutes are already out, actually, so they'll be posted pretty soon.
Are these alternate grounds for the fields or?
No, mostly for like a community center, for a building, and then it'd be more for like indoor. There might be some outdoor space too, but it just depends on what's available. That's the thing. But it would be more towards the center of town. Cause back here, we still want to do those fields, but there's like 6 acres to play with. It's not really that much. So,
is this group aware that the last Design Connect port had a community center designated for the north side here?
I don't know if they own, so,
Okay, so there's space up there.
yeah.
There was talk about what a good spot that might be, except it's.
What happened to that?
There's one right there where the dollar store area was. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
But I was gonna do it. Okay.
yeah, so. And then that's the building with, that's all the vacant one right now. Yeah, that building you wouldn't have wanted to touch anyway, I think. I think it had a mold issue is what I heard.
That's the one that Baby just said was sold.
Yeah,
Okay.
that land, yeah, so. Okay, but that's what their report is.
Okay.
All right, so we're, unless I get citizens privilege in case anybody's gonna wanna come up. Deb?
I have a PowerPoint. I don't know if I got a handout for you guys. I can just speak from it. It keeps me on task.
Again up there? Or-
Yeah, I mean, I can screen beam it possibly, or you can use my laptop.
If you have it on your machine and connect it to the Zoom call, you can project to that.
Okay, how do I do it?
Can you give her the co-host?
Which one are you on here?
Can you do it? I don't know if I know how to do that.
Which one of those are you signed in?
I'm not.
Are you not signed in?
I'm not.
I mean, you could, if you go to the
Website.
Oh,
website and then just click on it, it'll take you. right
okay,
there.
let's go.
Let's,
We're doing a presentation.
She has a PowerPoint, so it's like-
Yeah, I'm on your internet, so,
you can go to the website.
yeah.
She's gonna talk about it quick. And I don't have a problem with it. Just show it. So it gets into the thing.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna be that,
Not gonna be out.
just a couple minutes, yeah.
Yeah, I'll make it.
I mean, she has printed copies for us, but if everybody else, I just figure if everybody else. can see it.
So some of the wording is different. What he's doing there, I want to talk quickly about something that was presented where it commented on the departments, having social activities and it being on their balance sheets. That's from the 2% money. So you have to take in the revenue and then you have to pay out the expense. The expense shows that then we get the money through an insurance fund. So that's what this is. On the top, it's where the revenue comes in. Later highlighted is where the expense comes, and then the final document is the summary report that goes to the office of the city comptroller. And you'll see it balances with the exception of there wasn't interest paid for the end of the year. You can understand what that is, because it's a question that should come up with every department, not just the one that's being accessed. This is the document that speaks to the regulation.
I'm sorry, could you remind us who you are and what,
Yeah, my name is Deborah Eichholz. I'm a member of the community. I'm a taxpayer.
where do you live?
I live on 10 Lewis Street, right in the village.
Okay, Deborah.
Yeah. That's in the board.
How do I think?
So if you bring the PowerPoint up and then you go to the share button. Jason, can you give her the co-host?
Yeah, so then you just hit share, yeah.
Oh. But obviously, you're a pretty big town there. Here's our town stats, our the size, our population. And then when we look at the figures, these are primarily village areas as far as the residents. And then how it breaks down, Etna's only got 1.62%, when you look at the village, very small, you know. Then just talking about the data response time and coverage, we've heard some comments that kind of speak to these myths over time. I'm not gonna go into a lot of detail about it, other than some of the truths aren't always the reality in the scope of the entities that are operations. As far as it fits in Dryden, how does it fit into your long range plan? What you discussed, that. I'm just seeking to understand a little bit. After I read the article in the Portland Standard, I was left with more questions than answers of the headline and then presentation of the resolution. The article stated that there was not a second. According to Robert's Rules of Order, without a second on the motion was not considered. The press release on the town website alleges a unanimous decision, but there was not a second on a motion or a decision. It also states.
Can I stop you right there? The other fire departments were unanimous. That's,
Yeah, I understand.
so that's 100% accurate.
Yes.
Okay, so there's not a misstatement in that.
Well, it's like I said, saw it from. I saw it was in the paper, so.
Well, never believe what you read in the paper.
Well, and I really wish that it was together. So no arguing, just
Okay.
observation.
All right, just want to be clear on that.
It also stated is financially responsible. I did not see anywhere a decrease in taxes as funding is being sent to other departments. Access to statistics would be helpful to answer questions and allow for transparency around the decision. So as far as the information on Robert's Rules of Order, I'll leave it with you. It's from actually Cornell University who adopted it. And it's just basically Robert's Rules of Order simplified.
We don't operate by Robert's.
Okay.
Not law.
Okay. So we have local law that speaks to it.
That's state
Okay.
law.
You might want to update the town website because it still says there's 6 departments there, so just a heads up on that.
Well, there
When we
are.
take away the 2 departments that you have contracts with, is our needs gonna decrease? The town hasn't shrunk, taxes are not decreasing, and maybe they will. How will services not be adversely impacted with less responders? And then this is just a quick summary of fires in the area, some things that the residents have said, spoke from a neighbor, like a charge cell at this point. The one thing I take away from this is watching them work, is that it really does take a village to fight a fire. I'm really proud of all of our volunteer fire department, this is speaking of the one, our all volunteer fire department, as well as the other fire companies who came. But it was not just a village, it was an entire town. Would it have spread to the other home without the additional aid from the departments? Previous slide, the chief talks about it was worried with that in a second. How fast the fire can spread and as far as response time. Doubles in size every 30 seconds. Sometimes tragedy hits with fire as well, and that's what this one does. We never forget those tragic incidents, guys, hotel up in the middle there. This just speaks to a very tragic accident, not accident, fire, line of duty, loss of life that hits home. Is it worth the risk to us? We'll try and continue to have the resource. That's
Thank you.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're at the meetings where other departments, when they're presenting from
Like, it makes.
November, if you weren't in last month, I mean, there was a lot of data. Yeah, I mean, there were different things brought by the departments and they were comparing responses and things, so that's what we heard. Where is this? All right. Anne Marie. Do you, Anne Marie Sheridan?
Oops.
I was at those meetings, I remember hearing things that, were not put in the minutes about intentions to data. I agree, Dan, I don't believe everything I read in the papers. I've been 80% response rate, which was to that. Yeah, that's a good. There are also things in the minutes I don't remember hearing. Regardless, what strikes me more than anything else, and it surprised me, is the comment from board member Lamb tonight. No dog in any of these fights. Please let that sink in. You're entrusted to steward the resources and allocate contracts to protect the dogs of this very large town. And on the night you were deciding how they will live their lives in care, you use a phrase like this, like they are commodities. What, I wonder, other epithets do you use when you think no one's watching? I have a different plan tonight, but I'm gonna leave it on this topic in part because your comment is wholly offensive in what should be an attitude of decorum and seriousness. At best, it is inappropriate, insensitive, and callous. As a concerned resident of the town of Dryden, as a registered volunteer for all the local shelters, animal shelters, and as it pertains to the agenda item that moved from the agenda last week to this one, I'm going to ask the board transparently to please share how you will support the best interests of any dogs currently in the town's custodial care during the transition in contracts. It would behoove the town to act in the best interest of the animals in your care during the time of transition. I'm sure you agree. For example, should any placement actions underway, any adoption, foster, whatever placements that may be underway be affected negatively, such that the animals spend extra time in shelter or not realized placements that may be underway now, I would put it on record that the town is not fulfilling its duty. You drive up the cost of care based on an increased day, which is not going to be on the bottom line, it's going to be tougher on the DCO. Certainly not in the best interest of taxpayer dollars. So I'm asking that you commit on record that you will fully support and not obstruct any placements that may be underway, because extended stays and increased budget may down the line actually contribute to recommendations for euthanasia for long-time resident dogs.
Oh.
And as an aside, in reference to the comment about having no stake in the outcome with respect to the fire coordinator, which is the professional and appropriate way to articulate the point. With respect to the town trajectory towards the fire district, I would disagree. We've seen significant salary increases from the board, earned more into these past 2 years than many people in the town who work and volunteer. And has worked, in my opinion, to mischaracterize our departments, especially mine. But I don't believe it's just mine. And I'm sure that the vision of salaried administrators in the shared district will be easier now. That the budgets of the two smallest departments is back in the coffers with redistribution. In the 12/12 public hearing in the board meeting, Board Member Lamb said the board would not do a back and forth with those of us who signed up to speak during the hearing, who would address any and all comments once comments and included. The board then reversed course and made statements about the town of Riverdale's contract and ignored all comments provided during the public hearing about Aetna's contract. Regardless of Robert's rules of order or a motion that wasn't seconded, you just voted. For clarity, I'll also ask, is a fire coordinator position or position of any effort or any salary going to be appointed in the town of Dryden effective January 1st, 2025? The budget presented online is the adopted budget prior to the meeting last week had a $0 line item, but as you know, several line items have changed since the adopted budget was posted to the members of the town. Is any paid position being added back in? Any position will be appointed, will the incumbent hold? Will they hold any position with the town in the new year, including the new administrative appointments we recommended tonight? I'd ask the board to please address previous requests by me and by other members of the community to have meeting recordings available transparently to the public on your website. Not everyone can Zoom. Most people play recorded videos. I've seen requests for this coming in next door. One of the board members commented about the Burtondale decision, but did not see her answer that question, so I'm laying it up on their behalf. I don't think person. Some minutes have included comments that attendees I know don't recall had spoken. Would be better for communications to be transparent and people who can't come to the meetings. Reduce their surprise to have these available online easily. And if they are, and I haven't found them, I apologize.
We're working on it. They are not there yet.
They are not.
No, we have the recordings, but you have to
Thank you.
ask for it. Because we just haven't been able to get them online yet. But they're available.
I think the process of asking for it, times all the members of the town who want to ask for it, is not efficient. I think it's a barrier to their civic involvement and ability to respond. And it is efficient. Transparency is best. Just a matter of budgetary question, is the investment in the pre-built chief vehicle included in the adopted budget line item for last year? As I said, people should be more aggressive if they're asked item. I was curious
Question for you all, you're paid for that.
Can you just address us? That's what citizens, if you wanna
Yeah.
ask them stuff. I would ask after the meeting, just, you're supposed to, and, yeah. that's-
I will just say. Since the board meeting, 12, approximately 7 emergency calls arrived to, members of my phone. And I am responding, and other members of the Etna Fire Department that were outside our current jurisdiction. I was asking if this happened elsewhere, because, my colleagues are, but it certainly limited this to me.
Well, I mean, the comments are just are for the
That's fine.
board, it's so,
Calls about to members of the other fire department outside of our current jurisdiction, for which we did not receive proper advice with respect in the normal manner. Zoom may not have been covered by insurance in the event of an accident without a full attachment. What assurance can you provide that any concerns with the dispatching is managed? I don't know what happened with the other departments. Perhaps you can investigate with them should you see them. Did the board if it did not happen, my question to anybody else, my question would be, did the board instruct dispatch in any regard to alter how Adam's tone for the end of our contract period at 12/31/24? And if not, are members of the board aware of any such instruction that dispatch may have received?
No,
Thank you.
okay, are you wrapping up? Cause we got we try to keep these to 3 minutes. And
Okay.
you've been definitely double that already.
you're welcome to send us your questions because you've got quite a few buried in these remarks. I mean, we don't want to ignore them, but they're kind of hard to keep track of.
Well, I assumed that you would wait till the end and address them, and I wouldn't have to use my time to have a dialogue with you in the middle of it.
Okay.
But I'll take your point and I'll read very quickly and then.
Yeah.
We voted to redistrict the fire districts in the town of Dryden for the municipalities of Burkendale and Etna to ensure the residents of Etna and Burkendale are safety, to ensure the future evaluation steps decided by the board, the reporting mechanism and timeline of performing the public so they're aware transparently if the plan is working out. I think that's really important. People need to know there's a new protection mechanism for them, for their houses, for their residents, that we share the plan with them on how we're going to evaluate the structure of the response to help them understand that they matter. Because a lot of people are concerned, I think, when they hear things like this. That would go a long way to ensuring the residents of the town that they are being taken care of. I'll reiterate at future meetings, and get stop now. The need for there's conflicts policy that's, I think it'll be fine.
Mike Parker.
Good evening, I'm back again. I just had a couple of quick questions, and because I can't address Anne Marie, I will address you. To answer your question. We have had outages. I Am Responding was not sending us calls. Freeville experienced the same thing. So I did investigate it. And it turns out that Lansing had the same problem, and what they found was the number that is attached to each department. Lansing somehow got deleted, so they weren't getting their calls through the I Am Responding, and there's been some kind of a clicking noise in the pagers as well lately. So that has happened. They had to reprogram Lansing's. Freeville experienced that. I did contact them this last week, and they did fix that problem as well. So it is a problem that is known throughout the county. So it's not a targeted thing at all. We were having the same issue. I missed 2 calls in the middle of the night because it didn't go off.
Did they say if this has anything to do with the temporary relocation of the 911 center? Is there?
They didn't say, they just said somehow Lansing's, when they figured it out, somehow whatever. Lansing's got their own individual number assigned to them that sends. Somehow that got deleted in the system. And then somehow ours got deleted in the system. So I'm guessing that somehow Aetna's got deleted in the system. I would just recommend that you call and file a report so that they can fix that problem. So it is a known problem. Second question is, we're 2 weeks away from January 1st. Have we sent out the contracts yet for the new year?
I have not, no, I'll talk with Cassie tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah.
it was just.
So which of it isn't changing, so it's just gonna be the number.
Yeah, I figured it probably wasn't gonna change
Yeah,
much if at all. But I hadn't heard anything on that. And, you know, regarding the future, is there gonna be a meeting to know what the fire departments are gonna look like in the future? Because we haven't heard anything on the strategic plan that apparently has been worked on for a while, and we have no idea what direction anybody's going because as the fire departments have all been kept in the dark on this. So I just, well, what are we doing?
Well, I think we're gonna have to have our own.
And are we gonna have
meeting
a-
about,
We're in a transition right now. I'm sure you realize.
I understand that. Are we gonna have a private meeting with the fire departments, a sit down meeting, or are we gonna do this in a public meeting to talk about
We
it?
talked
Yeah.
about the. What Chris was talking about with a future fire district or anything like
District,
that.
strategic plan, whatever all this entails, because
We're in the dark, there's nothing.
well, all right,
There's
we have to actually figure, like, first, there's two different things, I think, the immediate part about the service. That's
Mhm.
one, which I know. I already had to sign that one form for the county, but I think at least me and you and maybe one other board member and Varna and probably Neptune also. Should be,
it's not a complaint. I just want to make
Yeah.
sure we know what's going on.
As far as like the board's strategic plan part, like we actually have to do a meeting the way all the departments did on our own. So I think that's gotta be like
Okay.
an internal.
That's what I say. They're just questions.
Yeah, we don't have a completed document.
Okay.
That's something we do, that when we do it, we need to do it in partnership with you. I mean, there's
Yeah.
there's nothing going on you don't know about.
Okay.
Yeah, and that other thing about the district thing, it's a grant that we want to put an application in for to get somebody to just look at our fire service in the town and then tell us what they think. But we have to get the two villages on board with it too. In January, so we can submit the application for the grant. That's what we set money aside for.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's gonna be.
That's fine. Like you said, it was just a question. We all want to be transparent on the same page, and that's what, that's my goal, is to do that. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Dave Lampman, if he's here. Okay. Mark Bell.
So as I've said before, I will bring my monthly call reports to you. So this is gonna be November's. I have one for each of you guys. Cassie also was sent them electronic today. We had a busy month last month. We had 71 calls.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes. So thanks to Mother Nature, we actually had 22 calls in one day. And luckily, it wasn't a wind event, so as the snow kept waving on the trees, it was a slow gradual progression through the whole day, so. All calls were answered, most of them was one right after another, so we would clear one and they'd let us know about the next one. So again, 71 calls for the month. As far as our EMS rescue that we started, we had 14 calls for that. Average firefighter per call was 6.6. That's partially skewed a little bit because only the people were available for those 22, so it brought some of the numbers down, so. But overall, active burger time was 2 minutes 34 seconds. Average on scene time was 7 minutes 13. Any questions on that or?
Was the power outage a particular?
Wasn't really power outage. Most of the lines we had to deal with that day was phone and cable, so it literally was cut them and go. So Spectrum had a lot of wires to fix. But I believe everybody's back up and going. The biggest power outage issue that we had was in the village. And that was the lines that feed TC3. They actually fell in two spots. They fixed one, tried to turn the power back on, and it went right back off. And then the other one was up on our Settlement Midline Road area. So there were only two power outages we had. Most everything else is all phone and cable. I just want to let you know, a little stuff Chris talked about the ready room that we redid. I just want you guys to know that, yeah, our strategic plan may not have been stellar, but the information that we took out of that was, something we took to home. We're proud to complete the ready room renovation, and we've changed how our members are onboarded now. So the new member committee, effective of January 1, when somebody turns in an application, if it's an event, if there's enough people from the committee, they can interview the person, check references, and then they can onboard it without a membership vote. The membership will vote on them after the probationary period. So you can see what kind of member they are going to be and what they've done so far. So we're going to hopefully that will streamline the process. We've applied for 2 AFG grants. One is a regional grant with some of the departments in Portland County, the same ones we did about 12 years ago for an SCBA grant. Our packs are coming up on 15 years, so we figured we would start the process now in case we don't get the first time. We can try again next year. And that's hoping that the AFG grants are still around. So we also submitted one for replacement of a rescue tool for basically Jaws of Life. That's what everybody knows it, but it's the extrication equipment. That also is about 20 years old. It doesn't produce the hydraulic pressure to cut some of the new metals that are in the new cars. There's actually some of the battery operated stuff actually has more power and it reacts in a quicker amount of time. So that we're not 100% sure if that will be exactly the way we go. Hydraulics maybe, but the grant submitted. I would also like to just say, if some of the calls that I was getting were dragon calls, that was the 911 center. That was the 911 center trying to fix one of the problems they had with it. In exchange, they created another one. Once I heard about it, I called them. They corrected it to where it was no longer getting our calls, but they also fixed it well enough we weren't getting our calls either. So they claim it's fixed now. So I don't know.
It's almost as if the, run reports might not be happening.
Unfortunately, that is true. So again, I don't think it was creating a CAD incident, but for some reason the CAD was sending it to I am responding. Once I did find out about it, I got a hold of the 911 center, but I didn't hear about it until after the fact. And unfortunately, it happened Friday the 13th, which was the day after the board meeting. So they took ownership of it. They said it was fixed, but then they found out they broke ours, but we haven't had another phone call since to know if it's fixed or not. To take a few seconds and just thank Chris for his service. Chris, we may not have always agreed, so eye to eye on some things, but I think our vision and our goal was the same, was to make fire protection better in the town of Dryden. I can honestly say, I think you've helped to bring all the departments together to make them stronger together. I think the town board has a big part of that too. I think we are in a stronger, better place now than we've been in many years. And I look forward to seeing that continue to grow in the future. So thank you to you guys. Thank you for what you've done. I know it hasn't always been a thankful job, but sincerely thank you because you have brought us all closer together. So I appreciate that. And unless you guys have any other questions, I'm done. You guys can go home. We'll turn the lights off.
Yeah, we got to see if anyone is who's listening, if they want to join in or not, too. Thank you.
Have a good day.
But just a quick question. So You have a program that just churns this out when
They'll do.
every department has.
So it's called,
Devil?
Blue Devil,
Devil,
whatever you
Mhm.
wanna call it. But yeah, so basically our calls are imported. What they call the Ripon one, the 911 center
Yeah.
puts out, it's imported in this,
Okay,
so. You know, and then when we get done with it, we type in the names of who's by it, and so.
all right.
They all use it.
So.
But November was really busy, wasn't it?
It was, it's. How far-
Let's say that.
All right, thanks for doing this.
Everybody's calling, right?
Freedo's chief's report, monthly chief's report has been sent to the town of Dryden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Few years now, every month.
Yeah, we have them all in the public, I think they're in the public share somewhere.
Is that right?
But that's not really a public show.
Yeah, I mean, for us, yeah, it's for, for the board. But anyway, if you want to see what all the stuff we have, all,
Okay,
so.
it's not sent to our individual emails.
No. No, they send it into Cassie and various logs.
Yeah. But thanks for pointing that out.
If you got a question once.
Very good.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
Thank you.
Greg and you guys showed me the whole thing the other, like a couple of weeks ago, so. So is anybody who's on Zoom listening in, did you have anything for the public comment, citizens privilege? As if not, we're gonna end the meeting. All once.
Oh.
Yeah.
A couple of months ago, we made an agreement, we were gonna do some gaming once we got to put it on Switch, right?
Some gaming.
Well, that's,
Do you have Madden?
we had that little kind of. Fun little, I just wanted, I remember we were talking, Mark, but okay, I gotta bring that up.
If you have Madden or FIFA. We can, I'm old school.
I'm stuck in Tecmo Super Bowl, so it's fine.
But thanks.
All right,
Batman?
all right, well, I guess that's it, so happy holidays, folks, and Merry Christmas, happy, don't forget about Festivus, I didn't have a Festivus poll tonight, but yeah, we do, yeah, hold on. The Bambi's got one thing. Hold on, Bambi's just got one thing she needs to add before everybody goes, real quick.
What do you need, Bambi?
So, we held a public hearing last week on the fire contracts. However, it wasn't exactly a public hearing because I neglected to send a notice to the newspaper. Right. So I neglected to send a notice to the newspaper for the public hearing on, fire stuff last week. I think probably because I've been confused about the whole process myself. But anyway, they made a decision about the amounts. I don't know whether, I think that's it.
Yeah.
But we need to hold a public hearing January 9th. To put it on the record, make it legal. So I'll admit that, fault before anybody goes down a river.
Because even though we had one for the total amount, we have to have one for
For
the
the contracts
individual ones.
themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just saying that for my own
Yeah. So the
clarity.
total amount was approved in the budget hearing. But approving and authorizing Jason to sign the individual contracts for specific amounts is a different public hearing.
Okay.
All right, so, but we'll still send them out, because we know the numbers. And that way you all can review them, and then we can take care of it that night, I guess.
So it'll be just a housekeeping detail.
All right. Okay. All right, see you folks, I guess see you next year.
Thanks.